Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the N.G.L.A podcast. First and foremost, man, I am an Eagles fan. I just like the color brown, so I put on my Browns jersey today. It's a Baker Mayfield. I wish it was a Shedeur Sanders, but I'll get one of those when I get it. Anyway, before we start, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate it for everybody that is supporting the channel so far and for my future supporters. So today, man, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about that one big, beautiful bill. I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it to pass, and it finally passed. So I had to go back to the House because they made some changes in the Senate. So I had to go back to the House. And I believe it, honestly, it might have already passed. But you know what? Before we start, let's do this. Before we start, let's actually go and see if we can let me see if I can pull up live House. Gonna be a beautiful bill today. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Fox has got it live. Let's see what's in right now. So right now, the yays. So Fox on North Carolina amendment, on the Green 2 amendment. So I'm not sure because I'm not sure if this is just for simply because I think each amendment of the bill, they say whether or not they agree. So I'm not 100% sure whether or not this is just to pass the bill altogether. I'm not sure, but we'll go. What we'll do is we'll go back and forth. Right now, the yays are 216 and the nays are 212. So as of this moment, it's looking like it's passing. So I do want to get more. Information on whether or not they go through each amendment in the bill and then pass it individually. Not 100% sure, but like I said, we'll keep going back and forth with that, and maybe what I'll do is let me see. Let's do this. So they got it muted, or you can't really hear what's going on the floor. So we'll go back and forth. We'll go back and forth with that. So let's talk about what happened yesterday with the bill passing, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm excited, man. And I want to say, bro, I want to say this. The hate for Donald Trump is so real that it doesn't matter what he does. We already explained that. But I actually had a family member text me yesterday. And of all things that she could have texted me, she texted me an article of Kamala Harris basically disagreeing with the one big beautiful bill and about it shouldn't get passed. Long story short, I didn't even read it because I just read the little headline thing that she sent. But delusional. So misinformed. Don't really. The thing is, people talk about things and they don't even do the research on it. So her whole thing was she was complaining about Medicaid, Medicare, all in the same field. She was complaining about that, and she was saying, "Oh, I'm already paying too much for my medication," and this, that, and the third. I said, "What's hilarious is the cut to prescription drugs that happened, Trump was the one who started it, but it was officially passed when Joe Biden was in office. So, but that was the only one thing that they could say during Kamala's campaign was I cut prescription costs by 30%. And this is, at the end of the day, you didn't read the bill. I went over, before this bill passed, I went over in one of the episodes about how when they was hooting and hollering and saying that Trump says when your kid is 8 years old, they consider grown and they can go work and take care of themselves. And it was just a blatant lie, right? And not only did it wasn't just social media, it wasn't just people on social media saying this. There were news stations actually reporting this. When they know it's a lie, they know it's wrong. When Trump said that the changes that were made were basically saying the same thing as if you was on unemployment. If you go and collect unemployment, when you get it, they say, we still want you looking for a job. They still want you looking for a job. They still want you actively doing that. So you have to fill out a certain amount of jobs that you went and applied for every single week. Trump is saying after your kid is 7, you have to work, or you could go to school, or you could do community service. And the hours that you got to work is 80 hours a month. It's 80 hours a month. So you got to do some part-time work. The whole point and the whole thing that he's trying to accomplish is he's trying to make the American people more prosperous. He wants them to go harder. He doesn't want people depending on the government. This is what the Democrats want. They want you to depend on the government so they can have bigger government. They want to create more departments in the government because the American people need us. When Donald Trump wants the government to be there if you need it. If you need it. But he also wants to lower your taxes. He also wants you to, what people don't even understand, the whole no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime, that benefits the average person. I know CEOs that was, and the CEOs, correctional officers that was doing Uber and Lyft and stuff like that to make extra money. So now they can make more money because they're not getting taxed on their tips, right? And then I'm going to make more money because I work a 9 to 5, right? And I work overtime. I worked overtime yesterday. And that was the reason why I didn't go live, is because I had to get some sleep and I had to go in early. So now anything over 80 hours is getting no tax to it. And that's going to put more money in my pocket to go towards my bills and the things that I got going on. So I was excited about the one big beautiful bill being passed. And there's plenty of more things in there too, like the child tax credit being raised. So now when we go to claim our children, if you have them, you're going to get more back on your taxes. So I don't understand why people want a tax increase, a tax hike. I don't understand that part. Because that's what was going to happen if this bill didn't pass. It just, people are so delusional, man. It's nothing on this planet that's perfect. So if you're expecting a bill to be perfect and to cuddle your every need, it's not going to happen. There's going to be some losses here, some losses there, but ultimately, the bigger picture of it is, does it benefit the American people? Not does it benefit Ukraine, Russia, China, and all of that. No, does it benefit us? Just like the tariffs. Everybody was bitching and complaining and, the tariffs are going to do this and that, and they didn't do it. The stock market went up. The stock market goes up, it goes down, it fluctuates. That's the stock market. But it didn't do what people, it didn't cause a recession like they were trying to report. And that's the whole point. Stop listening to the lies, bro. They report nothing but lies. And instead of people saying, they lied about this, they lied about that, I'm just no longer going to listen because they just lie. And I want to get truth. Right? And Donald Trump is giving you truth. He's giving, even when he said about the tariffs and stuff like that, he said, look, it's going to be some short-term pain for the long-term gain. So that's him being honest, letting you know, yes, things may go up here and there in certain with certain items, but overall, In the long term, you're going to benefit even more because he's going to open up the markets in China, open up the markets in India, open up the markets all around the world so that way American goods can go to these other countries the same way their goods are coming into America. Because we're the biggest consumer market. So that's why they all want to be here. Trump knows that he's a businessman. He's a businessman. And this is what he does. And this is why they're all coming to the table and he's getting big, big deals done. So I ain't trying to hear nobody's bullshit. I don't care because you're misinformed. And on top of that, you don't even do your own research. You don't even come to me. If you want to have a debate with me and argue with me, how about you actually come with some facts? Don't send me a bullshit article from a bullshit person who don't have no stakes in America, who lost the election because she's incompetent. I'm not even going to say the words I want to say. I'm going to just say she's incompetent because she is. Word salads and all. Come on, man. We got to wake up, man. We got to be more informed, especially as black people, man. We're at the lowest of the totem pole in education in a lot of other areas. And I'm not saying this from a position of, oh, I got life figured out. I got things figured. No, I don't. I'm figuring it out too. But at least I'm willing to do it. At least I'm willing to be open-minded and not be brainwashed forever. You know, I was brainwashed for a lot of years. And luckily, I was able to get up out of that due to, God getting me up out of that. So let's get into this video. We want to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill in the first part. And this is ABC. They kill me, man. Let's get into it, though. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Now to the drama and all-nighter on Capitol Hill. The Senate narrowly advancing President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill. But much more work is ahead to get the tax cut and spending bill across the finish line. And one Republican senator is feeling the pressure after opposing the legislation. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien back on Capitol Hill tonight.
Tonight, on the eve of a marathon series of votes on President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill, a stunning twist. One of the bill's most
So I just wanted to play that because I just love when she keeps saying, I played this already before. I just wanted to play it real quick because I just hate the fact that they said the so-called beautiful bill and now they sick. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's get into this other video. This other video right here with my lady. Now, listen, I told y'all before that if you want to get real, the closest thing to the truth, watch Fox, bro. Watch Fox. Listen, I don't believe every single thing Fox reports, but they're the only ones that's being honest. And they'll tell you, oh, Fox, they're the ones giving you misinformation, this and that, but they bring facts and receipts. So I'd rather listen to the person that brings receipts versus the person that's just giving me their opinion. Like as if because you're on a news station, you can't be biased. These people are crazy. Let's get to it.
We are in this, we are leaning on this, and without the tax cut that was put into place by President Trump in his first term, if that's allowed to expire today, if this bill does not pass, that hikes taxes for 68% of working Americans.
Right, and the biggest hikes would be for the lower household income. So, and also the pro-growth aspect of this, right? We want to grow this nation. We want to grow the economy. And taxes are a central part of that, particularly for corporations.
Hold the vice president breaking the tie right now, which means they had some no votes from those Republicans. This bill, the big, beautiful bill, has passed because the vice president of the United States, J.D. Vance, has come to the Hill more than once thinking that he would do this. And when he showed up this morning, they were right. He would be needed. He has done.
So the bill passed, right? And it passed because J.D. Vance gave the tie-breaking vote. And shout out to J.D. Vance, man, for real. Shout out to him, bro. And shout out to Trump, bro. This was a big deal. You noticed what she said. 68%. That's huge. Like people don't understand, bro. And a lot of, and this is why they prey on people with the whole, they're going to cut Medicaid and Medicare, and your children are going to suffer. And they go after people's vulnerable points. You know what I mean? They know, the people that are are always up in arms protesting, unfortunately, bro, is the poor people. Ain't no rich people out there doing all of this shit, bro. They not. It's the poor people. So they prey on the poor people, and they prey with their heartstrings, and they say, you know, especially the people that are getting Medicaid and depending on, you know, the government, whether it's a little bit or a lot, you know. So, of course, they're going to tell you anything that you need to hear for you to go and up in arms about, you know, this bill. When all it is Trump saying, if you're able-bodied, if you're able to work, if you're able to go to school, do community service, help your community, anything is better than just sitting on your ass and getting fat. Period.
Done it. Let's listen and see if there is any audio that we can take in.
Okay. Pursuant to the order 4 February 29, 1960, the hour of 12 noon having arrived, the Senate having been in continuous session since yesterday, the Senate will suspend for a prayer by the Senate chaplain.
Let us pray. Eternal, ever-blessed God, help our senators to walk on your path for the glory of your name. Help them to walk with humility so that they will strive to be servants of the people. Help them to walk with forgiveness so that they will forgive as they desire to be forgiven. Help them to walk with courage so that nothing will deflect them from the way they ought to take. Help them to walk with endurance so that nothing may daunt or discourage them until they reach their goal. Lord, help them to walk with loyalty so that nothing will ever seduce their hearts from their devotion to you. We pray in your loving name. Amen. Amen.
And with that, we are watching now. The big, beautiful bill has passed on the vote, breaking the tie of the Vice President of the United States. And Charles, you were talking about the tax portion of this. What good does this do outside of saving what the president put into place with tax cuts that were monumental, really, for so many Americans across the country? What does this allow him to do going forward?
This is the crux of it all, really, to be quite honest. It's the growth effect, the multiplier effect of businesses keeping more of what they earn, being able to invest that into future products and being able to invest that into employees. And that's what the foundation of the economy is. And listen, obviously, it's one thing when you say things on the campaign trail and when you hope for things on the campaign trail. As we can see, this thing is very contentious. Just your conversation with Chip Roy shows that when it gets back to the House, there's going to be some more, fisticuffs or another Donnybrook, so to speak. But, President Trump put out a post yesterday talking about the growth aspect of this. And I think that's what he's focused on more than anything else. Make the pie bigger. Make the economic pie huge so that everyone can get a chance at an opportunity. Because it's one thing to save taxes as a lower income home. It's another thing to have have more prosperity, to grow your job, to grow your business, to have a business, to start a business. And I think that's what the president is aiming for.
Look, what you were talking about, and I want to get into it, Kennedy, at the very end of the Faulkner Focus, Representative Chip Roy and I were watching the lead up, the last few seconds of that final vote, and he said that the cuts that were put in place to make this deal there are Republicans who, and I would assume he includes himself, are not happy about. And he's hoping that some of that, as Charles has just told us, can be, kind of put back in, I guess, by the House. But the cut down on Green New Deal, and they cut some of that out to make a deal today. The giveaways, this is Chip Roy, representative from Texas, talking, the giveaways furthering the Medicaid scam of, this idea that they're not just trying to get out fraud, but they want to just give money away, for Senator Murkowski of Alaska to vote yes for this. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so a lot of that was offsets from Obamacare. So that was expanding Medicaid for states like Alaska instead of really reforming the system. And it is the way they're doing it, it's still a Band-Aid. It's still a stopgap. And I think they really have to focus more of their attention on these meaningful reforms going forward, because that shouldn't be the thing that kills this bill. That shouldn't be the thing that kills tax cuts. But it opens a very interesting fissure within the party, because you have the constitutionalists like Chip Roy and the Freedom Caucus in the House, and then you have the moderates in the Senate, like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, who's up for re-election. And so they're going to push for the more moderate or liberal aspects of this bill that expand government and expand spending, which is a recipe for disaster when you're trying to cut taxes. If you're going to grow the economy, as Charles says, you also have to cut spending. And that's the issue that people like Rand Paul have with the bill.
Kennedy, do you think that it really came as close enough as Chip Roy, representative from Texas, was laying out, that if they would promise to give Lisa Murkowski the money that she wanted, I mean, could Democrats have tanked this in any way? I'm baffled, because we're at a tie, so clearly it was close.
They didn't need Democrats to tank this.
They didn't.
The Republicans did it all on their own, because they thought the more comfortable margin would be in the Senate. Because, mathematically, in terms of the ratio of Republican votes, you have more of them in the Senate, and they lost 3 of them. So it's even tighter in the House. So how you go back with this to the House and come up with a compromise, because, these are some pretty big issues. This is still a pretty big gulf that they have to tightrope in order to pass.
It's just crazy how, the Democrats are so, I give it to them. They lock and step, bro. Anything that one says, the other one says. These Republicans, bro, some of them, they Democrats disguised as Republicans, man. Everybody, for the most part, in Trump's administration is with Trump. And they'll try to say, oh, he only put people in his administration who are going to be loyal to him. But RFK was a Democrat, turned independent, who was a Democrat all his life. He's a Democrat who ran as an independent when he ran for president this last election, who is in the Trump administration. Tulsi Gabbard, who is an ex-Democrat turned Republican, because she sees the goofy shit that's been going on in her party. And they try to, they put her on a terror watch list and all of this stuff. See what they do, bro. These people are crazy, man. But, the fact of the matter is that the best thing is that Trump is informed. He knows what's going on in Washington. He knows who is who. He knows what is what. He knows the games. He knows everything that these people do already. The first term, he struggled. And he had his fuck ups, his hiccups, and the whole entire time, including now, they're going to report. And this is what I was telling my cousin. They're going to report negatively, cuz. This is what they're going to do. Now, even CNN said that they report the View, the owners. I think Disney, one of them owned, or Comcast, I believe, owns the View. And told them, y'all gonna have to tone it down on this Trump shit, because their ratings are going down the drain. Same thing with all of these news stations, because it's all they do is report negatively about Donald Trump, because they got TDS. It's a real thing, bro. It used to be a joke. It's no longer a joke no more. People truly And the crazy part is they don't even know why. They don't even know why. They just hate Donald Trump. I don't know. I just hate him. Like, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And my whole thing is, at the very least, be open-minded. You know what I mean? Do some research. Whatever you got to do, at least look into it. At least look into these things. Don't just believe every single post that somebody put up that goes against Donald Trump. This is what they do. It's a dude that I had to block on YouTube. I don't even know. He still be popping up on my timeline. This dude hate Donald Trump so much. It's sickening. I don't even like listening to him. Like I go past it. It's just hate, bro. Just hate. And he does what every Democrat does. He just projects the same thing, the same ideologies that he believes in. He puts it on Donald Trump and the Trump administration. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Seriously. Let's see what else they gotta say.
Pass this bill and have it signed.
Well, and the other reason, Jerry, that they thought it might do better or easier, might be an easier road in the Senate, was because the Senate had promised all the spending cuts and all those things. But much of that, not much, but some of that got shaved to the point where Congressman Roy is talking about maybe they're not all comfortable with it, the way it's cut down now.
That's right. So now it has to go back to the House. The House has to vote, obviously. And the question is, how does that happen? Does it happen? I think there's a very good chance that it happens, obviously. But let me just talk for a second about some of the stuff in this bill that is going to help middle.
And it's crazy that they even have to feel like, even saying it should pass, it should. Like, the Republicans have the majority. These things can easily pass with no issues, but you have some sellouts, unfortunately, and that's the people that Trump has, unfortunately have to worry about. And the thing is, these people can't get voted out until the midterms. So they gotta be there. They're there. Unless they do some off the wall stuff, they're there. And so Trump has to deal with it, basically. The same thing with the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. He's there. And Trump just can't fire him just because he doesn't like him. You know what I mean? But you can see that Trump is saying, look, you need to lower interest rates. So, excuse me, if basically, I assume that because I watched something where he said that he does have somebody in mind to replace him. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I would try to figure out a way to for him to get the boot, because the dude is playing, man. He's playing. I showed the joint where these people don't really. It's not nothing that. Where it makes sense for why he's not lowering interest rates. It's just simply because he tried to use the tariffs as an excuse on why he's not lowering them. Like, basically, like, we want to see how the tariffs play out, and we got to see, but you already see how they played out. It's money coming in. Billions of dollars are coming in. So they're just doing it just to do it. And this is all it's about, is we need to stall as much as we can. We need to get people out here to be up in arms and protesting and putting up these bullshit signs. It doesn't matter how we get them out there. Tell them we'll give them some money. We'll pay them $200 a day, and they'll go out there and they'll do whatever they want. You know what I mean? My cousin, I be cutting hair, right? And I just cut my cousin hair before I went live, right? And he was like, yo, my boy, he be making like $600 a week just by posting all like disinformation. Like, and mind you, I don't even talk to my cousin about politics. You know what I'm saying? We don't even discuss politics like that. We just I was telling him about our other cousin, when she texts me or whatever. And he was like, yo, it's crazy because my boy, he be making like $600 a week just posting all misinformation about Donald Trump. I said, yo, that's crazy. But I believe it. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know him. I don't know this dude personally, so I'm not going to sit there and say it's a fact. But what I am going to say is I believe it. I do.
class, because there's been a lot of disinformation about this. And the disinformation is basically that it helps Trump's billionaire friends. Nothing could be further from the truth. Remember, no tax on tips, lower taxes on Social Security, car loans on American cars, those will be deductible. So you're seeing a lot of things in here for regular Americans, going to help regular Americans, and nothing will help them more than Donald Trump's original tax cuts, right? They really help the middle class. It helps the lower class. So this is all good news. I want to say that the CBO has been no help here, because the CBO says that there's going to be $3.3 trillion more in deficits over the next 10 years because of this bill. They've got it wrong, and they've got it wrong for exactly the reasons we've been talking about. You brought this up earlier, that the economy is going to grow under this bill, right? It's going to get bigger. That's going to spend off more tax revenue and make our country wealthier.
Well, just real quick to that point, the CBO on the original tax cut bill said it would cut, that would add cut 1.5 trillion, and instead it added 1.5 trillion. It would add 1.5 trillion to the deficit. It cut 1.5 trillion out. So in other words, they were a million times wrong. $3 trillion off. So it's really awful with the CBO. Of course, they don't add tariff revenue and a whole lot of other things, but a lot of these folks in D.C., really seem beholden to it, and it's easy to game. So that always boggles my mind. I feel like it's more for public consumption than it is for actually being in a realistic world.
Yeah, Emily, presidents want that deliverable. They want that initial vision. The president got it already this morning. He's talked.
My bad. Notice what he just said. He said the CBO got it wrong. The first time when Trump tax cuts went into effect, they said that it would add to the deficit, and it didn't. Let's run that back, because I believe he said that it lowered. It actually was the opposite. Let's hear what he said.
A million times wrong. $3 trillion off. So it's really awful.
And make our country wealthier.
Well, just real quick to that point, the CBO on the original tax cut bill said it would cut, that would add cut 1.5 trillion, and instead it added 1.5 trillion. It would add 1.5 trillion to the deficit. It cut 1.5 trillion out. So in other words, they were
So they said that they reported that it would add 1 point something trillion dollars to the deficit, but it cut. And he's also going to say right here that they don't even take into account of tariff revenue. So this is what I'm saying. And what's crazy is Fox is a major news station, just like CNN, just like ABC. But they actually are going to report on the news. And I would say they're 85 to 90% telling the truth most of the time. You know what I mean? And as far as what I see, you know what I mean? It's certain things that they have done that, like when Trump won, they took a while to say he won for whatever reason. Didn't matter. But stuff like that they do. But as far as right here, they're telling you, she just told you that that it's a lie about, what they're reporting on the one big beautiful bill, that they're lying.
They were a million times wrong. $3 trillion off. So it's really awful with the CBO. Of course, they don't add tariff revenue and a whole lot of other things. But a lot of these folks in D.C., really seem beholden to it, and it's easy to game. So that always boggles my mind. I feel like it's more for public consumption than it is for actually being in a realistic world.
Yeah, Emily, presidents.
Is more for public consumption, meaning they just want to manipulate the people. Because that's really all it is. It's a movie. They get out there and they start acting. Listen, these people are not stupid people. Most of these people, I believe all of them are educated people. They went to college. They have some degree of education. They're not dumb, bro. They know that what they're reporting is false. But like I said yesterday, what they do is they tell a lie in the truth. So they'll say Donald Trump is making cuts to Medicaid, but they don't give you the details on what he's cutting or what he's adding. For instance, they'll say that, but they're not telling you that he's taking illegal aliens off of Medicaid. They're not telling you that. They're going to tell you he's just cutting it and make you believe that you ain't going to get welfare no more. You're not going to get them food stamps and things like that. The same thing they did, like I said, with the whole dependent thing. They literally, like, and I showed it on the Cartier family. Shout out to them. They had a video on it, and they showed you the actual verbiage that was in the bill. The actual verbiage that was in the bill about the Medicaid about the dependent situation, them lowering it from 18. Basically saying, look, we're not going to take care of your motherfucking kids until they're 18. We ain't doing it. You're going to have to get a motherfucking job. You're going to have to do something. Go get an education, something. He wants you to be productive. What's wrong with that? I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't see what's wrong with him wanting you to be productive. He wants your family to be productive. He doesn't want you to be lazy. He doesn't want you dependent on the government. I just don't see the negative in that. When most of the people I know, they work hard. Everybody out here struggling, of course, because of Joe Biden, not because of Trump. But he's trying to get us up out of that. And I don't understand why you ain't with it.
Want that deliverable. They want that initial vision. The president got it already this morning. He's talked all in deep about the numbers, the 2,700 gang members that have been picked up in short order by his administration, illegal gang members, suspected gang members who were here as illegal aliens. So he's having a deliverable there. This conceivably could lead us to another one.
That's right. I spoke with border czar Tom Homan yesterday, interviewing him on Fox Across America when I subbed in for Jimmy. And he shared that the colossal just impact that we inherited from the Biden administration in the way of illegal immigration, he said, will take a decade to actually clean up and address. And we talked about the brave and efficacious work of ICE agents and DHS right now. But the reality is that we have to go internally and clean house. And so what this OB3 does in the way of resources for that and allocation is really paramount, because I think right now we've successfully, obviously, stopped the floodgates at the border. But the reality is that on the interior front, there's a lot that we don't know. And what we do know is that we need resources for that. And I also spoke with Congressman Rick Crawford from Arkansas, and he talked about the agricultural communities. He said those are the heart and soul of rural America. And when we talk about these tax cuts, I speak with everyone, what is the best for your constituents? What do your people need? It's all the same. That's the entire point, that the massive impact it would have had if this didn't pass or doesn't pass the House. Right. It will be catastrophic and devastating. Child tax credit, families over 68%, small businesses, millions of them. So every single person affected. And the senators Mullen and Tuberville from Alabama and Oklahoma echoed the same. So it may not be perfect, but the reality is it would be devastating if it didn't pass.
Just talking about it.
So that's almost over. So we're going to end that video. But she's literally saying exactly what I'm saying. It's not perfect, but it would be way worse if it didn't pass. Because just the tax increase alone would hurt American people. The everyday, everybody's already, I don't understand. You're already struggling. You're already going through a bunch of bullshit that Joe Biden put us through. And Trump is getting us out with tariffs. He's getting us out with passing this one big, beautiful bill. So that way you could put more money in your pocket, right? He said the average home, we're bringing about $10,000 more a year. Like for the average everyday person, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So if you're making, let's just say you're making an average of $30,000 a year, and you're just getting by, that extra 10 is going to help you substantially. And I don't know about you, but I need that. I need all of that. Listen, I got about 2-3 side hustles, and I work full-time, overtime, all that. I need everything. And I hate when I look at my check and I be like, damn, man, you working 25 hours overtime and you get your check and you cool because you made more money, but the extra work that you got to put in to get it, and then on top of that, they taxing you on top of that. So they already taxed your regular check, and then they going to tax you your overtime. They be fucking waxing motherfuckers, and And this is going to put so much more money in your pocket, man. So you figure, because you get time and a half. So if you anything over the 80 hours, you getting time and a half. So let's just say you make $25 an hour. That's an extra $12 an hour, right? That's what, $37 an hour? You work 20, 25 hours, man, do the math. No, I want to do the math I want to do the math now. What the hell is that? Where the hell is my other phone? Fuck it, I'll do it on paper. So you figure 37 times 25. That's an extra almost $1,000, $925, right? So if you working at extra, that's $925 that you make, right? And you getting all of it, you getting 100% of it. When they tax that, you might see only $600, maybe less than that. Maybe, man, listen, I don't understand. I think they should do away with income tax in general. I don't think we should pay no taxes. For what? For what? I think we should pay one small tax, whether, it's 12, 15%, and that's it. When you go buy items, I think that should be the only tax. I don't understand why you taking money out of my check. You know what I mean? Because you paying for what? Health insurance, certain things that you paying for, but they taking state, federal, medical. Some of the things on there, I'm like, man, what the fuck why are they even taking this? They taxing your shit about 8 times before you even get your check, man. So you busting your ass, and before you even get your money, they already was digging in your pockets. And then once you get your money, now your landlord digging in your pocket, the refrigerator digging in your pocket, your baby need Pampers and shit, that's digging in your pockets, like just everything. The gas pump digging in your pockets. I don't understand why people don't want to make more money, but hey, the delusion is real, people. The delusion is real. So anyway, where is let's look at this. 219 to 212, so it's looking good. I just want to know, I just want to know though, what's up with not really, it's like muted for whatever reason. But it's looking good. That's all I care about. All right, it was a dang, where did that video go? All right, let's do this. All right, so let me bring this in real fast. Give me 1 second. Let me bring this in. All right. So CNN reported about this app that is called Ice Block. And basically, it's you supposed to, like, so if you see ice in your neighborhood or anywhere, you're supposed to be able to go on this app and report that ice is here or whatever. I don't see the benefit in that. What people supposed to show up and stop ICE from doing what they're doing? This is dangerous. This is dangerous for ICE officers, and I don't see the benefit in it, and it should definitely be stopped immediately. But this is my boy, Officer Tatum, and he's going to get into this whole charade with this whole thing.
To DHS, Kristi Noem and Donald Trump are looking into prosecuting CNN. Now, let me just say this. I'm going to play the clip. and then I'm going to give my commentary so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Roll the clip.
And Madam Secretary, CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing we believe is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran. They were given totally false reports. It was totally obliterated, and our people have to be celebrated, not come home and say, what do you mean we didn't hit the target? We hit the target first. You know, the pilots came home and they said, we hit the target first. So they may be very well prosecuted for that. What they did there we think is totally illegal. Okay, let's go. Follow us. Bye, Brian.
So what does that mean? If this was, now let's talk about this app, right? It's an app called, I think it's Ice Block. It's called Ice Block. It's a mobile app that let users report sightings of ICE agents. App created says it's a warning tool for undocumented immigrants. About 20,000 people are on it, mostly in cities like Los Angeles. Let's talk about this for a minute. If Ice Block was like a traffic jam, so you can avoid traffic jams or speed cameras or things of that nature to give the public an opportunity not to violate the law, because currently while you're driving down the street as a United States citizen, you're not in violation of any law. Generally speaking, not unless you ride with bad tags and no driver's license or whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. You're not just inherently driving down the street. You're not in violation of any law. So these tracking apps are to help you not to violate the law. But if you're an illegal alien, you've violated our laws. Them trying to help divert illegal aliens away from prosecution when they're illegally in our country has to be a crime.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called Ice Block, and it's controversial to say the least. Senator Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
And also doxing these ICE agents, because if one of them get hurt because somebody wants to go and protest and act a fool and target them, now they know where they are located. Facilitated by CNN, to me, that is a problem. That is a big, major problem. Like I said, I wouldn't have any problem with this if this was legal.
Bro, this is out of control. This is another person, just like AOC, who is helping illegal immigrants try to evade ICE. My biggest thing is I don't understand what the problem is, because you won't be able to go to any foreign country, no foreign country will you be able to just walk into, only in America, where you could just walk in and just be a citizen. You can just start working, fucking buy a Social Security and all of this shit. Only in America. You will not be able to go to any foreign country and do what Joe Biden did, bro. It's insane, bro. I don't get it. I don't understand why they want. I mean, I do understand. They wanted these illegal immigrants to come here. They thought they was going to prop up Kamala Harris. They thought she was going to win because she black, and she's not black. Just to let anybody who is still convinced that she is, she isn't. Just go back to 2020 when she was it 2020 when she ran, yeah, because she went she had a debate or whatever against Tulsi Gabbard, and she smoked her. And even if you go back, look up Don Lemon, who when Kamala just ran was on the bandwagon train. But if you go back to when she first ran, he was saying that she was not black. And then spent the block, and now she black. Come on, bro. But the whole point is, what I'm saying is, they wanted them to come here. They thought they was going to prop Kamala up. She was going to win, and they was going to be able to use these illegal immigrants to vote and win the election. But Trump was on it. He was on it. They had lawyers for days. They had everything in place to make sure that there was no cheating going on, because they know that they were cheating in 2020, bro. They know. They have evidence. They have proof.
Legal citizens having the right to be exposed to stuff that government is doing. But these are illegal aliens that they're trying to help divert prosecution. That's almost like aiding and abetting illegal immigration in this country.
Facts.
If you need, what they should do is an app that to help you self-deport, or an app that help you get your stuff together in the courts. Send an app to the nearest immigration office that you can go to and get your stuff together. Instead of trying to tell you to avoid law enforcement. These people are so crazy. And then
and hold on real quick, because another thing that people aren't taking into consideration is these people bought and paid for it. This is the reason why they hoot and holler about the shit that they do. But you don't even know, Donald Trump said it on the campaign trail, how many murderers they let in the country, how many terrorists they let in the country, and all of that. They know. They have the data on the type of people that was let inside the country. And it wasn't just from Mexico. All over the world, over 100 and something countries, people came from. You don't even know who's here, bro. So now, as an American, you should be afraid, especially going to big events and stuff like that. You seen what happened at that whole situation that happened? I forget. I believe it was like at a Taylor Swift concert or something. It was something like that. It was at a concert where all them people got killed by them terrorists or whatever the case may be. I don't know the full details, so I don't want to say it's 100%. But now you gotta, when you go to these big events and stuff like that, parades or whatever, you don't even know who's here. You don't even know who's here. So it's a national security risk on one of the highest scales that you can think of, because you don't know who these people are. They don't have no Social Security. They don't have no identification here. They're not a citizen. So you're mad because Trump wants to protect the American people? I don't get it. And then you got geeks like this dude who obviously is in the tech industry, probably has, millions of dollars to be able to just make an app just for the fuck of it and do something like this. But Trump should 100% prosecute this dude, or give him that ultimatum. Listen, you either take this down or we're going to prosecute you to the highest degree, because you're helping illegal immigrants evade ICE. It's crazy, bro.
Donald Trump spoke about the leak in the secret Iran report. Go to clip 3. Roll it.
That it was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm. And it is worth noting that it is a very early assessment. The strikes were only a matter of days ago, and the intelligence community is still gathering intelligence. They are still working to come up with a full, comprehensive picture of what exactly happened here. But based on a battle damage assessment that was carried out by U.S. Central.
And if you don't know, this lady right here that is reporting this, I believe I've seen this. She is one of the people who report fake news on a daily basis. On a daily. Just to let you know, so you know who you're listening to.
Command essentially looking at the images and looking at what was actually damaged. The Defense Intelligence Agency has assessed that the core components of Iran's nuclear program are largely intact, and that Iran's nuclear program has essentially only been set back by months. Now, we presented this information to the White House for comment, and White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt, she did acknowledge the existence of this assessment, but she said in a
Yeah, I actually played this on another video, actually.
Statement that the administration disagrees with it. She said, quote, "This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked to CNN by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. The leaking."
So look, man, y'all already played this video, so if y'all want to see it, man, go back to my previous video, or you can go check out Officer Tatum on his channel, at Officer Tatum, because I want to move on to this other, to what's going on with this whole Diddy situation, and give my insight on it. So this is N.G.L.A. So N.G.L.A is, if people don't remember, she is the one when Donald Trump was, I believe he was running the first time, and she was like saying how he made the comment of women pigs and saying bad things, and then he was like, only Rosie O'Donnell. And everybody was cracking up and shit. Like, she went viral for that. But it came out later that N.G.L.A, that Donald Trump told N.G.L.A, listen, basically, this is television. This is how you're going to get ratings and this, that, and the third. Like, basically, he told her to, basically ask the hard questions, whatever, however you want to do it, but make it entertaining. Make people want to watch, basically. And now she has her own, I forget which station that she used to be a reporter on or anchor on, but now she has her own show, the N.G.L.A Show, and she's dope. I watch her content sometimes, and she is one of the ones that I do rely on for information. She does give you valuable information, and she's going to keep it real. She's the same person. Go back and watch the interview that she did with Jake Tapper, right? She did an interview with Jake Tapper, and she got on his ass because she know, like, come on, man, you was reporting all of this goofy shit, and this is why I watch certain people, because it's real. They're real. They're giving you real information, and she didn't hold back. She didn't care if because she was doing an interview with him. She didn't care. She's like, oh, now you want to come out with this book after for years you were saying you were part of the Russia hoax and all of these different things when it came to Donald Trump. Now you want to drop this basically book about how people were duped with the whole Joe Biden not having it all situation. And it's hilarious, bro. It just goes to show you how much these people are just bought and paid for, man. And yeah, she's dope. Let's get into this whole Diddy thing. She was reporting on it. I believe that they said something like, I think I seen that he was found guilty of 4 of the 5. Basically like the lower felonies or whatever, the ones that aren't as serious as the big ones like the RICO and stuff like that. I think he was found guilty on, and there's one more I believe that they're going back and forth about, but we'll get into that. I'm not 100% sure, but hopefully we'll get some of the information right now.
5 questions. They're very interesting. What the hell's going on with juror 25? Just to, as point of clarification, the jurors have their numbers from voir dire, so it's not that they have 25 jurors, like they have their numbers. It doesn't mean there's 25 jurors. There are 8 jurors, 12 jurors, 8 men, 4 women. And this guy's one of them. And the note out to the judge yesterday was, we have a juror, number 25, quoting here, who we are concerned cannot follow your honor's instructions. After conferring with the lawyers, the judge sent back in a note saying, do it, do it anyway. Like saying, I reviewed your note. I remind every juror of their duty to deliberate and their obligation to follow my instruction in the law. With that instruction in mind, please continue deliberating. And they did. What does that mean? This guy, veterinarian, 51, Hispanic, PhDs in macroeconomics and something else, molecular biology, I think, has a domestic partner who's male and who is a graphic designer, lives in New York, goes to the opera, watches nature documentaries, may or may not be climate change, they said. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. He doesn't sound like somebody who can't speak English, who can't understand things. He definitely can follow the instructions. So what do you glean from this? Matt, I'll start with you.
Well, first of all, it's the worst nightmare for any prosecutor when you've got a comment from the foreperson right away, a note to the judge that somebody's not deliberating. My guess, Megan, just from a whole bunch of jury trials and a lot of speculation, since they didn't give us anything else, is it sounds like you went back and announced his verdict. If I had to guess, you went back and either said, I don't want to talk, I don't want to deliberate, this guy's guilty, or this guy is, I'm not convicting no matter what. That'd be my guess. He came in and very strongly announced an opinion at the very beginning, which prompted the foreperson to say, hey, you got to deliberate, dude. We got to talk about this. That's my guess. And I know getting notes like that, Art and I both probably have PTSD from many years of doing it. From the defense side, that's you love seeing that. From the prosecution side, you have a problem right at the outset. So hopefully they straighten.
Do you agree with that,
and
Arthur?
They'll deliberate.
Well, in federal court, unlike in many state courts, in federal
Which is where
court,
they
it's
are.
not as right. It is not as big of a problem as it is in the state court, because the judge has the power. I did all this research yesterday. The judge has the power to call that particular juror out, not ask him about what's going on specifically in the deliberation room, but the judge can make an inquiry. And if the judge determined that this juror cannot be a fair and impartial juror for whatever reason that didn't come out in voir dire, or I'll give you any other example, he gets deathly ill and can no longer deliberate. In federal court, the judge has the jurisdiction to rule that a criminal defendant can have a fair and impartial trial and a verdict with just 11 jurors. He can dismiss this juror for good cause and have 11 jurors deliberate. Trust me, the judge doesn't want that. The prosecutor does not want that, because it creates appellate issue. But there are appellate cases on point that says the judge has tremendous leeway at the end of a long trial like this, where so many resources have been spent. If a juror is unavailable or unable to be a fair and impartial juror at that point, the judge can dismiss them, and 11 jurors can go forward and reach a verdict.
Arthur, what do you make of Matt's theory? Because I had the same reaction as Matt did. Somebody saying, my mind's made up. There's no point in deliberating. I'm never moving off of insert verdict here. What is that what you're, I mean, like we have no idea what we're talking about. The audience should know we are all totally speculating, but that's the fun of waiting for a jury. That's what we do. Go ahead.
I'll just speak for myself, and I'm usually wrong. I mean, I just did this, and we had, I don't know, a dozen notes, 15 notes, and I, know what they're doing. But the juror is allowed to go in there and say, listen, I listened intently to all the evidence. I don't need any readbacks. I focused. I listened to every second, and I think he's not guilty of all counts. And, I'll sit here, and you guys can talk all you want, but there's nothing you're going to tell me that the witnesses didn't tell me in direct examination, or I've learned in cross-examination, that's going to change my mind. They're allowed to, you're allowed to do that as a juror. You can't say, I'm not going to find him guilty because he's a black man, and I think black men have been so demonized in society, so that's what my verdict is. You can't do that, because now you're not finding a verdict based on the evidence, which is what the judge's instructions are. But if you say, I listened to all the evidence and here's my verdict, and I'm not going to be threatened or beat up or convinced otherwise, he's allowed to do that. I was afraid when I heard that note that it was someone who didn't have the intellectual capacity, because in federal court, as you guys know,
That's not this guy's problem.
Right. There's not a lot of heavy voir dire in jury selection. The lawyers don't get to speak to the jurors in jury selection in federal court. So sometimes you don't realize there's a screwball in there based on a questionnaire that they filled out. But yes, it does not sound like he has the background where he can't. And it seems like maybe that ship has sailed. I mean, it's almost, it's the next day and they haven't sent back any notes like this guy's a big
That's
problem.
right. Now they're deliberating. But now they sent out a question asking if, I don't have the exact wording in front of me, but basically asking if a person has drugs and gives them to another person because the other person asked for them, is that possession with intent to distribute, which is what he's charged with, is one of the many predicate.
Hey yo, so that's that. I believe. So he got charged. I want to actually real quick. I actually want to look up what Let's look up real quick. My bad. I actually want to look up real quick. Let me see something. Combs, hold on. Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of racketeering, sex trafficking. So, hold on. Trial days, bail denied due to. Let's go to AI move real fast. Diddy was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. These charges stem from violations of the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting individuals across state and national lines for the purpose of prostitution. The convictions related to Combs' transportation of his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and another woman referred to as Jane during the trial for the purpose of engaging in sexual acts and prostitution. Combs was acquitted of more serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy of sex trafficking. So, okay. So it's so crazy because I had conversations because listen, man, what Diddy got going on don't got shit to do with me. But being as though I'm in this space, I want to speak on it because I do have an opinion about it. I said from the door that I believe that Diddy is a freak booty nigga. Whether he likes men or not, that's his business, right? Do I agree with that type of shit? No, I don't. But that's his business. Now, when it comes to the whole sex trafficking and all that, I've been said, I don't believe none of that shit. Kids and all of that, I don't believe it. I believe that Diddy was a power-stricken nigga. You know, he had power, he had money, he had influence, and he abused it. I believe that he took advantage of people financially. I believe that, he had something to do with a few people that ain't here no more. But when it came to this specific situation, I don't believe that he was doing anything where it was like him forcing Cassie to fuck other men and shit. I don't believe it, Now that's what he's been found guilty on. But I knew the whole racketeering and all of that, the whole Rico situation. Come on, bro. I believe that this is bigger than what people think. I think that they was able to, the same thing that happened with Tory Lanez is how I feel about with this. Mind you, he had paid Cassie out for all of this shit not to go public. And then the video came out all of a sudden. And I believe, what I really believe is that it's bigger than that. It's bigger than Cassie. It's bigger than all of this shit. The same thing with Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez, it just so happened before that whole situation happened with Tory Lanez, remember, go back, this video is all over the internet of Tory Lanez he was geeked about him selling his album for $1 as an NFT. And he made $1 million in, I believe, like 24 hours, something crazy. And he was super happy about it. And he was saying, man, I cracked the code. And yo, you don't need no industry. You don't need none of that. Da, 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 da. And I believe that he was saying too much. And him doing that and exposing that, yo, you can get money this way with this whole rat thing made people in higher places say, hold up. Now he doing too much. And the situation happened where another celebrity, Megan Thee Stallion, was shot. And if you go back and look at the video, her friend was real scared. She was real nervous. She was saying shit like as if like I can't get in trouble. I can't do this or that. And she was kind of implicating herself a little bit in the video without actually saying it. And I believe that her friend was the one who shot her, whether it was accidental or on purpose. And they used that as a way to railroad Tory Lanez, and it worked. And I believe that they trying to do the same thing with Diddy. Now, I want people to understand this, bro. When it comes to money and it comes to certain things, bro, this shit could get real wicked. They did it to Michael Jackson. They did it to Bill Cosby. They same thing with Prince. When you go against the narrative, when you go against the grain, they gonna come get you. That's why a lot of people are scared to speak out on certain things. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, it could get wicked. And I believe that this situation is way bigger than what they're putting out there in the public with this whole Cassie situation. And honestly, we seen the video of him putting his hands on Cassie. That shit ain't cool. That shit ain't right. I don't condone that whatsoever. And he got to deal with that. However that may happen. At the end of the day, man, when you at that level and you getting that money, and you got to be able to stay grounded. You got to be able to stay humble and not let this money and these different things get you out there. I think Jay-Z is a good example of that. You see, Jay-Z is always on the low. He's never in the headlines with goofy shit. He had some headlines with this whole situation, and he let his lawyers handle it, and he let it be known. He made like a statement or something and said, basically, I'm with all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to assassinate my character, and you're trying to, but I can't believe that my biggest thing that I don't like about these situations, like what happened to Cassie, even R. Kelly, right? And I believe with R. Kelly, because it's no secret. The only thing that I really know for sure about R. Kelly is that he was fucking with Aaliyah when she was young. I ain't with none of that. I think that shit is goofy shit. But the one thing that I just don't like, though, is that a woman can come out of the woodworks 20, 30 years later and say that a man did something to them 30 years ago. And even if a person is acquitted or whatever, the fact that you can even do that and put a motherfucker through all of this public scrutiny about something that might or might not have happened 20, 30 years ago, bro, that's crazy. To me, that's crazy. The situation with Cassie, that's not 30 years ago. That's something that's been going on for these last 10 years. You know what I mean? I believe that Diddy was putting his hands on her. Obviously, we seen the video. I said this literally a week. My cousin was like, man, that nigga be fucking kids and he be doing all this weird. Da-da-da. I'm like, cuz, bro, this shit bigger than that. Don't just believe everything you hear, bro. I don't believe that. I do believe that he took advantage of niggas financially with record deals and shit like that. And I do believe that he be putting his hands on women because he a motherfucker that is absorbed with power, bro. He got power. He got influence. And when he doesn't get what he wants, he be acting out. You know what I'm saying? Like a little ass kid. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that. But do I believe that he was fucking raping people and sex trafficking people and all of this shit? No, I don't. I just don't, bro. I don't. And my whole thing is I don't know. I haven't been really following this whole trial. I know like with Diddy got locked up and this shit. But just think about how crazy that is, man. That's why, bro, you gotta stay humble, bro. And you just gotta keep God in your life, bro. People say that, but their actions it don't match what they say. You know what I mean? So people can get up on them podiums and these celebrities and say, I gotta thank God and da 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 da. But they ain't really walking with God, man. And that's the thing, you just think about it. Yo, Diddy in jail. Like this Diddy. Like Diddy is like been famous since I was alive. All of this money, everything you can ask for as a human on this earth. And right now, that nigga is in a box. I've been in a box. I've been in prison. I know what it's hitting for. That nigga in there eating motherfucking tuna and crackers, motherfucking hookups. You know what I'm saying? He putting it together. He got money. So he in there eating big cheese and everything. Like, it's crazy just to think that. Motherfucker go from eating steaks and fucking lobster and all types of the finest food in the world to eating hookups. Eating nigga in there with the motherfucker. Yo, this shit is crazy. I'm just thinking about it because I've been to prison. I've been to jail 100 times. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. And I know what it's like being in jail. I know what it's like. Like he in the county, he ain't in the. I never been in the feds, but he's like in a county facility somewhere. He's not. I don't know how the feds work, but I don't. Even if if the feds pick you up, I don't believe you just go straight to federal prison, even if you're fighting a case. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but all I know is it's all the same shit to a degree, as far as what you getting in there. I heard the feds treat you a little better as far as like the quality of certain things. But he in there eating ramen noodles. He in there with the motherfucking 2-packs with the hot mac and the chili with the motherfucking cheese on the top. Maybe I don't know how he like it, but that's how I used to. Whip it up, throw the sugar in the cheese, make that shit nice and sweet and spicy. Bro, he in there eating hookups. Diddy is in the county eating hookups. That shit is crazy to me, bro. I don't care what nobody say, man. They have all the money in the world, all the luxuries in the world, mansions, all of this shit, and be having all of that stripped from you. This is why I tell people, bro, the streets is undefeated, and this game is undefeated. If it does, listen, God will humble you, bro. Don't get too ahead of yourself, bro. God will humble you quick. You keep thinking that you're gonna be out here doing all of this goofy shit. He may let you get it off for a while, hoping that you might repent and you might change up. But dog, he would take it all from you quick. It's done happened to me. You know what I mean? I'd have been up. I'd have been at the lowest of lows. And bro, it's not a good feeling. That's why I'm walking with God now. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to elevate, man, in the right ways, man. Money ain't everything, people. Understand that. It's just money, bro. Money comes and goes, man. But the relationships is the best thing that you can get out here, man. Is build good relationships, be good to people, and motherfucking and mean what you say and say what you mean, bro. So stand on everything you talk about and stay 100, bro. When they say keep it 100, that just mean be you, man. Stop trying to be like these rappers and all of these other people that's out here because they got a couple dollars. You think that you got to follow their wave or follow what they doing in order to get where they at. You don't, bro. Just be you, bro. Just be you, man. I'm not even going to play the rest of this video. If y'all want to check out that, go to the N.G.L.A show on her YouTube channel and check out that whole conversation that she had about this whole Diddy thing, man. But it's crazy, bro. Diddy really eating motherfucking hookups, bro. That shit is crazy. This should be a learning experience, especially for the black community. Especially for the black community. This should be a learning experience, bro. Don't get don't get ahead of yourself, man. Don't ever get too high, bro. Try to stay, you know what I mean? Understand, remember, too much of anything is not good. So when they tell you, man, like, man, you too much of anything ain't good. Period, man. Try to live moderate. Try to, you know what I mean? Try to stay level-headed, bro, because he could take it from you and you can have nothing. Diddy got nothing right now. It's motherfuckers in there right now that got on the same shit. He going back and he putting on whatever they wear. In New Jersey, we wear like khaki color shit. I don't know how it is where he at, but he in there wearing the same shit they is. Obviously he got money, so he able to buy sweatsuits and all of them different things. He able, locker probably filled with hella food and shit. He probably, I ain't gonna say probably, he living good in there. You know what I'm saying? It's Diddy, he got money, but he's still just like everybody else in there, bro. He still got to deal with doing the time, man. But I don't think Diddy should get 20 years and none of that shit. I think, if he do any time, he should do a year or two, come home, man, and get his life together, man, because this shit is bigger than what people think about, man. But anyway, man, your boy gotta go. Unfortunately, I gotta go to work. So this your boy SL550. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel, man, and fuck with your boy, man. Share my shit. Help your boy go viral. Whatever. It don't even matter. No matter what, man, I'm appreciative, man, and I love y'all. I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.